What's going on, guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you my overall thoughts on West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This will be their 20th coaster. It'll be all new for 2019, and overall, this is probably, of all the additions coming to Six Flags, this is probably the second best addition coming, for sure, in my opinion. It definitely looks like a pretty unique coaster, but there are some upsides and there are some downsides to this ride. And I'm going to be sharing my overall thoughts on it. So let's get it. So this will be the world's first quadruple launch dueling coaster. So this is a Mobius loop coaster. It's the world's first quadruple launch Mobius loop coaster, and this coaster looks pretty solid. And before we continue with the layout, shout out to Coaster Studios for uploading this to his channel. And with West Coast Racers, in my opinion, this looks like a really cool ride. Like, you have this dual loading station, one train will wait, so it's basically like two rides in one. It's kind of like what this ride will be. You have two really nice launches, as we see here, on both sides, the white side and the yellow side. And I believe the white side's the side we start off with, and then the yellow side is the other side we get to do second. And we have a high five element. This will be one of the two on the planet, one of the two on Magic Mountain. The other one of these high five elements is Twisted Colossus. And overall, I think this coaster has a pretty nice layout. You have some pretty fun inversions and turns throughout the ride. And I've seen this animation before, but I'm breaking it down in slow motion here. And this coaster just seems to have a really nice layout. Like, you have some decent airtime hills, which, even looking at the trains, the restraints are over the shoulder restraints, and they look, as if you can see a bit closer, these are just like the restraints on Tempesto at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And I've ridden this coaster. I only got to ride it once, but I still remember my experience very well. Like, the first few launches were pretty fun, but some of the tighter elements kind of smashed my neck into the restraints, which kind of made me not like the ride as much. So I'm kind of worried if this ride, even though it might have the same smoothness as Tempesto, might still be doing that because of the restraints. Or will they be more padded? I'm not really sure, but I really hate Tempesto's restraints, and these look very similar to them. So the trains, they look pretty cramped. The restraints don't look that great. But this coaster looks very appealing to tons of audiences on the positive note. I think this will be a very popular attraction when it comes out. And you have several inversions throughout the ride. And like I said, with the white side and the yellow side, the white side's your first part of the ride, and then the yellow side's your second part of the ride. And they have a dual loading station, which I've heard. And, well, with the loading station, the white side will be the station, with that side will be the area where they're going to be unloading and loading up passengers onto the trains, while the yellow side is the side that we see is going to be the train basically waiting for the other side, the white side, to be fully ready and just like flat out ready to go. And it will fix the problem Twisted Colossus had, is it doesn't duel every time. It duels if the operations are fast, but if the operations are slow, it won't duel and it won't be as fun of a ride. But this ride is going to fix that problem, which is something very nice about this, which is kind of an upgrade from Twisted Colossus, I guess. And there are some pretty fun launches throughout the ride. This isn't the fastest coaster, in the world, but I still think this is going to be a very picturesque ride. A lot of photos and screenshots are going to be taken of this ride, and I'm still looking through the layout. Like, I think the layout has tons of potential. You have some small airtime hills that might give out some airtime, but from Premier Rides' perspective, they probably won't. And I know you have 2 launches on each side, and a few inversions on each side. Like, this is a pretty unique looking ride, and I do think the color scheme they are going with is pretty solid, but the name West Coast Racers, it's kind of a basic name. I wouldn't say it's a horrible name like some rides, but this isn't the greatest name ever, but it is a racing coaster, and West Coast Racer as well. It's a racing coaster, so overall, I think this will be a very nice addition to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Do I think it'll be the best coaster in the park? No, not at all. Twisted Colossus will keep that spot, but for some people, X2. But do I think this will be a top 5 coaster? I think there's definitely a possibility it will be top 5. It would just have to beat out, well, quite a lot of rides. But overall, I think this ride has potential to be a top 5 coaster at Magic Mountain. And I think when it opens, it can be a top 10 coaster at Magic Mountain at worst, a top 5 coaster at, or top 3 coaster at best. I'm hoping for it to be a top 5 coaster at Magic Mountain. And it looks like a pretty unique ride. It looks like it's geared for all audiences, some families. It looks more appealing to the families because it's not really that large like rides like such as Goliath, Full Throttle, Superman Escape from Krypton. Like, those rides are massive, so is X2. And this looks a lot smaller, and you won't be able to really see it as like part of the midway. But overall, I think this will be a fantastic ride at Magic Mountain. And that was my overall analysis of West Coast Racers. My next analysis will be on Copperhead Strike going to Carowinds for 2019. And I won't be doing an analysis of Batman the Ride coming to Discovery Kingdom because, well, it's an SNS40 Free Fly. It's a clone, so there's not really too much to say about it. So that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching my reaction to the West Coast Racers and my overall analysis. Stay tuned for more videos.